We're your hosts, Chris and Madison, and we are joined by CEO and co-founder of Ubisoft, Yves Guillemot. Yves, thank you for joining us.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yes, thank you for having me.
Well, it's always a pleasure talking with you, Yves. So how are you feeling about E3 this year and about Ubisoft's lineup?
Oh, I feel very good. I think we had a very good conference. The response all the fans gave was fantastic, so I'm very happy.
Excellent. It was fun to be a part of, and just great energy, especially right at the start with that kickoff of Watch Dogs Legion. This is one of the exciting games Ubisoft is showing off here, and I want to ask you about this game and the play as anyone feature. You know, this is a kind of an exciting new thing. You can recruit anyone in this open world. It's a sort of a pretty bold move. How does Ubisoft sort of set things up so that an innovation like this, the teams have the time to dedicate to bring this to life?
In fact, we have to make sure we have very good teams in the same in a studio, and that those guys have, as you said, enough time to search for breakthrough. And we have in Toronto a fantastic team that has been coming with lots of fun, really good ideas, and this one really took off. And the first time we saw it, we were convinced. So it's really now developing, and I think it's going to be something that will change the video game industry.
It certainly seems like it. And with so many characters in the open world, I have to observe that this might be the closest we're getting to Yves Guillemot as a playable character in a video game. Are we going to spot you roaming around that open world there?
I don't know. He will be there cool, you know?
Okay.
To talk to the dev team about that, right? And also, so Assassin's Creed Odyssey, right, was able to announce some exciting new modes. So the story mode, the story creator mode, and then also, obviously, the Discovery Tour. And Ubisoft has always made sure that players are able to experience historical, fantasy settings in Assassin's Creed. And now, with their ability to create stories in Odyssey, how do you think that will enrich players' experience?
I think it will be a new dimension for the Assassin's Creed brand, because if we can have all the creations from the fans enrich the overall experience, I think we will see things that will be unexpected. And we want you to spend as much time as possible to really come with beautiful stories, and I'm anxious to get to see what they will actually create.
We saw a glimpse of it in action earlier on the stream, if you were watching, folks. We also saw a glimpse of Discovery Tour. Now, when this first came out for Assassin's Creed Origins, to me it felt like a little bit of a risk. We're putting time, we're putting energy into this thing it's in the Assassin's Creed world, but it's different from the core experience, But now Assassin's Creed Discovery Tour is coming back for ancient Greece. How did that first one do? How did it motivate the second one? What's sort of the what do you think is compelling about the Discovery Tour and why we're going back to it?
Oh, actually, the response from the first one was so good, and it was used in many schools. Teachers called us all over the world saying, how can we use it? So I used it, and that's how the reaction was. So we said, okay, we have to go one step further and really bring the possibility for players to actually experience also a little bit of interaction with the world, so that they can feel immersed in it a bit more than in the first one. So we will go like this on the iterations we create. We will increase the interaction with the world and make sure we learn as much as possible when we go and spend time there.
Excellent, and such a fascinating way for people to get to explore that world. I can't wait to dive into it myself.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. And speaking of beautiful worlds, we saw Ghost Recon Breakpoint yesterday, right? So gorgeous as always. But the team also announced a couple of updates that were in response to community feedback. Right, so also the class-specific weapons, and also the return of AI squad mates. Right? How do you, what's your philosophy about balancing that kind of input from the community with the dev team's vision?
It's actually the team that is in communication regularly with the community, and they know what they can do. They know the limits they have, because all those games are very complex, and they have been actually very good at understanding what was possible, and what I've seen is the response from the community has been very good, and I encouraged the community to continue to bring new ideas like this, because that's really the best way to make sure those games are adapted to what our players want.
Do you think that's important for Ubisoft? You know, we've seen that now with The Division, we've seen that with Rainbow Six, with For Honor, with lots of different games where community feedback has really been taken into account and implemented. Do you think that that's something that's important for Ubisoft in general?
Yeah, and I think it's just the beginning of it. We want to do more and more of this, and we will also bring more and more tools so that this collaboration with our players increases, and that we all feel we are part of the same creation, actually. Enjoying playing, but enjoying also creating content.
Very cool. Certainly a lot of people enjoying creating content here at E3. I want to touch on one more game that we showed off during the conference, Roller Champions. Now, I don't know about you folks at home, but when I saw it, you know, it's just, oh, here comes Ubisoft with yet another roller derby basketball sport hybrid game like they're always releasing. But this is, you know, this is an unexpected game in some ways. And so I want to know your reaction when this pitch comes across your desk. What's the story there? When the teams pitch you on something like that, how does it go forward from there?
It's there are different stages, actually. The first time they pitched the idea, we loved the idea, but we wanted to make sure that the gameplay would have enough depth, and because we want players to spend a lot of time on those games, and we want to be able to do esports at one point. So, you know, it's a constant communication with the team to set the bar at the right level, and so this team is doing very well, and what they showed today was yesterday was at the level we expected. Now we have to continue to put depth in it so that players can come and go and compete with other players.
Very cool. And Madison, I asked you this important question yesterday, but Yves, roller skates or roller blades? Do you have a preference yourself, the four wheels or the inline skates?
I would say roller blade is more my favorite.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Rollerblades all the way. Team rollerblades. That's right. And we also saw yesterday in the conference Uplay Plus, right? So players can play, it looks like all of Ubisoft's games, from the latest games to back catalog to all of the things. You know, why was this the right time for Uplay Plus?
I think it's the right time because we are creating so many different games and in different universes that we want more players to actually take advantage of them. And when you get in this subscription, you will not have barriers to access those games. And my wish is really that all Ubisoft players can actually try all those games and see the depth of them. And I think they will love that experience, and they will be able to share with their friends, and also meet friends that are playing other Ubisoft games, understand they are there while they come in, and they will be able to go everywhere they want, actually. So they can, together, groups of friends, actually experience different types of games of Ubisoft, because when you have the subscription, everybody will have all the games.
It seems like it's making things super easy for players to check out their favorite games.
Exactly.
Right? Do you have any plans to bring Uplay Plus to other platforms?
Yes, as you could see, Stadia is already announced, and we will continue to push.
Now, speaking of Stadia, you know, this is a platform that's launching later this year, and Ubisoft has a history of being there at platform launches and supporting new platforms, sort of seeing what that audience is all about. What do you find compelling about Stadia, for being there at launch and supporting it?
What I like is, first, the possibility for us to play on a big screen and to continue on a smaller screen on the same game. And not only the games that exist today, but that in the future I have experiences that are well adapted to be played on any device wherever I go. So that I like. And the second thing, which I think can be fantastic, is the capacity to create games that will use 500 computers, 1,000 computers at times, and will give experiences and worlds that will be very rich, very dense, and in which many players can play at the same time, because they will all be on the same server, so no matchmaking problems, lots of things will be resolved, and we will be able to have new experiences that we have never seen before. So the possibilities that are there are just immense, and I think we will be able to tackle them quickly.
And one of the things you mentioned there, sort of about players having new experiences, connecting across the Stadia platform. Ubisoft already sort of connects players across platforms with Uplay Club, Ubisoft Club, right?
Yes.
Your profile sort of transfers there. And with more and more companies talking about cross-platform play and cross-platform saving, can you give us a peek at what Ubisoft's kind of philosophy is about that sort of cross-platform interaction?
We love we love cross-play, cross-progression, and that's why I like so much streaming, is that that's natural with those machines. And we spoke about Uplay Plus. If you have the Uplay Plus subscription, and you are on a streaming platform, you can go from one game to the other without having to download it, and you will be able to switch quickly from one game to the other. And on top, you will be able to have your progression. It's a new dimension, I would say, that will change the video game industry.
And speaking of that vision, right, for the future of video games, you've talked a lot about that vision, welcoming billions more players, having this opportunity for cross-play. What do you think that means for E3?
For E3, E3 will is a time where everyone shows what he can do. I think the fact that we have more and more players that will be interested by getting in worlds that will be more systemic, with more diversified activities in those games. I think E3 will continue to be a major time for all the industry, where we can look at what is proposed, and I like it very much to come at E3 because it's once a year a way to show everything we have and to get feedback from players. So I think it will continue to grow. We don't know exactly what's going to happen to E3, but that date for me is a good time actually to exchange with players.
Well, I feel kind of bad getting excited for next year's E3 already, but there you have it. Yves, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and talk through Ubisoft's games, Ubisoft's approach to the future, and all things Ubisoft.
Thank you, and have a great E3, all of you.
Absolutely.
So see you. Thank you.